Have you ever looked at the skyscrapers lighting up a city skyline and thought, who really runs the world? Not governments, not kings, but corporations. These invisible empires that shape what we eat, what we wear, what we see, and even what we believe. But here's the question John Kay poses in his brilliant and daring book, The Corporation in the 21st Century. If corporations have become this powerful, what is their true purpose? Are they engines of progress? Or have they lost their way in the endless pursuit of profit? John Kay, a leading British economist and one of the world's clearest thinkers on markets and institutions, isn't just writing another business manual. He's performing surgery on the soul of capitalism. In this book, Kay examines how corporations evolved from small, purpose-driven enterprises, built on craftsmanship and community, into sprawling global machines that often forget why they exist in the first place. What makes this book different is its depth and moral courage. While most business thinkers shout about maximizing shareholder value, Kay quietly asks, but what about maximizing human value? If you've ever felt that today's corporate world feels too cold, too mechanical, too disconnected from human reality, then stay tuned. Because by the end of this summary, you'll see exactly how we can rebuild corporations that serve people first and profit second. Let's begin. Lesson 1. Purpose before profit. Rediscovering the soul of business. Every great corporation begins with a dream. But somewhere along the line, dreams turned into spreadsheets. John Kay begins by dismantling one of the most powerful yet dangerous ideas in modern economics, the belief that a company's sole duty is to maximize shareholder value. That single concept, born in the 1970s, has reshaped the entire business world, turning visionaries into accountants and employees into costs on a balance sheet. Kay argues that this mindset has hollowed out the corporate spirit. In his words, corporations are social institutions before they are financial ones. They were never meant to serve money. They were meant to serve meaning. He reminds us that companies like Unilever, Johnson & Johnson, and Toyota didn't rise to greatness by chasing numbers. They rose because they built products people loved, treated workers with dignity, and stayed true to long-term purpose. When purpose comes first, profit follows naturally, as a reward for excellence, not as its substitute. Viewpoint. Consider the story of Patagonia. Founder Yvon Chouinard didn't create the company to become a billionaire. He created it to protect the environment through sustainable outdoor gear. Years later, he literally gave away the company, transferring ownership to a trust to fight climate change. The irony. That act of selflessness made Patagonia one of the most respected and profitable brands in the world. Kay's message is clear. Purpose isn't charity, it's good business. Lesson 2. The trust factor, the invisible capital. Every corporation needs. Money can buy ads, talent, and influence, but it can't buy trust. Kay describes trust as the invisible infrastructure of every successful corporation. It's what allows employees to take risks, customers to stay loyal, and partners to commit. Once that trust is broken, the entire system collapses. Slowly, then all at once. He takes us back to the financial crisis of 2008, a tragedy not born of bad mathematics, but of moral decay. Banks stopped trusting clients. Clients stopped trusting banks. And governments had to step in to rebuild the foundation that trust once held. In Kay's view, trust is not a soft concept. It's hard currency. It's built through consistent honesty, fairness, and reliability over time. And in the 21st century, with social media magnifying every lie and scandal, corporations can no longer hide behind PR. The world sees everything. Viewpoint. Think of Johnson & Johnson in the 1982 Tylenol poisoning crisis. When several customers died after tampered bottles hit the shelves, the company didn't wait for proof or blame others. They immediately pulled every bottle nationwide, a move that cost them millions. But the result? Customers saw integrity in action. Within months, trust and sales rebounded stronger than ever. K would call that trust equity. And in today's world, it's the most valuable equity a business can hold. Lesson 3. Leadership beyond the spreadsheet. The return of the human CEO. Today's CEOs are often worshipped like rock stars, but too many of them lead like gamblers. John Kay exposes how modern corporate leadership has drifted away from vision and toward vanity. Leaders chase short-term performance metrics to please Wall Street, even if it destroys long-term value. They focus on stock buybacks instead of innovation and bonuses instead of community. But true leadership, Kay argues, is stewardship, the art of leaving an institution better than you found it. A real leader doesn't see employees as resources. They see them as mission partners. They don't ask, what can I take from this company? But what can I build that will last beyond me? Kay calls for a revival of human leadership, guided by empathy, curiosity, and character, not ego. Viewpoint. Look at Satya Nadella of Microsoft. When he became CEO in 2014, the company was losing relevance. Stuck in old thinking. Nadella didn't fix the company by cutting costs or shouting for results. He changed the mindset. He introduced a learn-it-all culture instead of a know-it-all one. He emphasized empathy as a competitive advantage. And what happened? Microsoft's market value soared from $300 billion to over $2 trillion, all by reviving the human soul of the organization. Kay would nod in approval. Leadership isn't about command, it's about character. Lesson 4. Innovation with integrity. Creating for progress, not just profit. Innovation used to mean progress. Now it often just means disruption. But what are we disrupting? And at what cost? John Kay challenges the Silicon Valley obsession with move fast and break things. He argues that innovation without ethics is like giving a child a loaded gun. When technology evolves faster than our moral compass, corporations risk destroying the very societies they're meant to serve. Innovation, he says, should always answer one question. Does this make life better or merely faster? He reminds us that some of the most important corporate innovations weren't about gadgets or code, but about human well-being. From Toyota's lean manufacturing to Unilever's sustainability programs, responsible innovation blends creativity with conscience. Viewpoint. Consider Airbnb's evolution. When it started, it was hailed as the future of travel, connecting people globally. But as it grew, it faced backlash for driving up rents and harming communities. To their credit, Airbnb responded by introducing programs to support local housing, taxes, and community safety, acknowledging that innovation carries responsibility. Kay's point hits home. True innovators don't just disrupt, they repair. Lesson 5. The future of the corporation. From power to partnership. The old corporate model was about dominance. The new one is about connection. Kay envisions a 21st century corporation that's not a fortress but a network, a living ecosystem that collaborates with governments, startups, and civil society. The world's biggest problems, climate change, inequality, data privacy, can't be solved by competition alone. The future belongs to companies that cooperate for collective good. He predicts that the next generation of successful corporations will operate like communities, open, adaptive, and purpose-driven. They'll measure success not by quarterly reports, but by long-term impact on people, on the planet, and on trust. Viewpoint. Think of Tesla and renewable energy. Whatever you think of Elon Musk, he proved something powerful. That one company, guided by an audacious vision, can push entire industries to evolve. Today, every major automaker has committed to electric vehicle. That's not competition. That's a global partnership in motion. Kay calls this the shift from private interest to public purpose, and it's the only path forward for capitalism to survive the century. Most business books teach you how to win. John Kay's The Corporation, in the 21st century, dares to ask why we should want to win at all. It's not just about balance sheets or market trends. It's about reclaiming the moral compass of modern capitalism. What makes this book extraordinary is its tone. Calm, thoughtful, and deeply humane. Reading it feels like a quiet conversation with a wise mentor, one who believes that business at its best is a form of service. K doesn't scream revolution. He whispers reason. And in a world of noise that makes his message thunderous. Now, here's my question to you. Do you believe corporations can truly change, or have they drifted too far from their humanity? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I read each one, and your insights help us build a community of thinkers who want more from the world than money. We want meaning. If you found value in this summary, you'll love what's coming next on the summary shelf, where every book we explore is a step toward deeper thinking, sharper vision, and better living. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell, because here, we don't just summarize books, we translate them into blueprints for a better world. Until next time, stay curious, stay kind, and remember, great corporations don't just build wealth. They build a world worth living in.